so much. I want to take a couple of moments and talk to you something that is very fundamental, very foundational. It's a word that we use a lot, and it may not be entirely new to you, but there's a few points regarding vision I want to speak to you about, specific, a united vision. If you've ever read the book Simple Church, you see a beautiful analogy of how Tom Rainer and his son, who do church consulting primarily with the Southern Baptist Association, have looked and compared and summarized the vast number of churches under two categories: a complicated church and a simple church. In the simple church, he says that things run smoothly. There is unity. There's collaboration. There isn't vying for finances, for space, for schedules. But in the complicated church, he said they may have the best ministry leaders anywhere. They've hired the best of the best. However, what they have created is, instead of one united vision, they have created multiple unique individual ministries that each have a unique vision. That really stood out at me as how we are called as a local body to have one mission, one vision to complete the mission of God for our community, our region, and our world. And so I have found that it is a wonderful thing when the body becomes united in vision. So instead of ministry leaders, wherever your role is, whether you're over a ministry or you support a ministry or you work with a unique maybe age group or gender, whatever it may be that you do, instead of asking God, what is my vision for this ministry? I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to ask the question, what is my role in completing the vision for this body through the ministry that God has given me for this hour? What I have found is that if we do that, when we come together, it's never a competition, but rather it is a fulfillment. You working your ministry, me working my ministry, doesn't move us apart, but actually moves us together. Because the thing I have seen long before I heard of Simple Church was that we would have phenomenal ministries in churches, and one leader wanted to go to the left and one leader wanted to go to the right, and we would find that there was competition. We loved each other, we cared for each other, but if we wasn't careful, we were pulling the church in two different directions. Though both of them good, we were pulling the finances in two different churches, and probably worse, we were pulling those who were following us two different directions, and they are the ones that usually sense this frustration or this tension that can come together. And so I love the beautiful analogies that Tom Rainer puts in Simple Church of having that united vision. It is so imperative. So ask the question, what is my part to complete the vision God has given this house? Not what is my vision, but what is God's vision for this house through our leadership, and what is my part in fulfilling it? If you don't know it, ask questions, ask your leaders, but also ask the Lord, what can I do to move our vision one step further so that it's not only united, but it's progressively growing and expanding into what God would have us to do so that we would complete the task. I think that's important. Also, a second point I want to make regarding vision is a statement that I say often, and it is simply this: you must know where you're going, but you better find out where you're at. That's so important. I have found through the years that often ministry leaders like myself may be more of a visionary leader, and we can think of the grand things, the exciting things that we sense God calling us to do down the road, and we can get people passionate and excited about that, and they want to go with us, and that's wonderful. We need that. That's biblical, as we said earlier. However, what I have found is so many times we fail reaching that place because we never assess where we're at today. It's just like a GPS. If you don't have the proper location of your current place, your historic actual reality, then you'll never arrive at your intended destination. It is imperative that you know where you're at. On the flip side of that, I have known leaders at different levels that maybe we're not visionary leaders, but we're great at responding to current circumstances. And we need that. Current situations, the current reality has to be dealt with. That's where we're at. That's our present. And I've known leaders that were phenomenal at responding maybe to a crisis, a problem, or an event, or just caring for those in that current moment. And we need that. We must be engaged in the present. However, if we don't have a clear understanding of where we're going, our response in the present actually may pull us further away from where God is trying to lead us. And so that's why it's important to know where you're going and where you're at. both of those working together individually and as a corporate body are important. Now, you may fit on one side of that spectrum or the other. Know that you're valuable. And as a team, when you come together, if you'll listen, you'll hear the visionary and you'll hear the reality. But together, we're able to address the present, but move us forward. Every problem has an opportunity to move you one step closer to where God is calling you to go. Now, this applies to the body, but it also applies to you individually. Where's God calling you? And where are you at now? You must know both of those. The more specific you can understand the reality you're in, the deeper you have an understanding, the more clarity you'll have as you move forward. I have found working with people that sometimes we get a surface level of their reality, but as we dig, as we pray, it's important. I will tell you, I have the current church I serve at is I spent a year in one present reality, only to a year later find a whole new depth of that reality. And at both times, the adjustment that we made to move us into the direction God was calling us also took place, because the better you understand your reality, the more precise you can be and the best timing of wisdom you can impart to move you forward. Because if you try to bring the future in too quickly, you'll actually harm the movement of the body or the ministry or your own life. So know where you're at now with your eyes set on where you're going. I encourage you that you will find out where you're headed and where you're at. May God bless you. May God bless your ministry, and may God continue to bless Harvest.